The top story we're tracking at this moment, former U.S. President Donald Trump has been asked to pay $83.3 million in damages to writer E. Jean Carroll for defamation. Now, the verdict announced by Manhattan jury last evening is about the statements Trump made in 2019, where he disparaged the writer, also denying allegations that he raped her in a department store in the 90s. Now, the total amount of Friday's award is more than 8 times what Carroll asked for in her initial lawsuit. And Carroll had sought at least $10 million. And he said that Trump had shattered her reputation as a respected journalist who told the truth. Now, Carroll has hailed the verdict as a defeat for all bullies that keep pushing women down. And her lawyer also issued a statement hailing the verdict. Robbie Kaplan said that the decision proves that the law applies to everyone in the country, the rich, the famous, and even former presidents. Now, Trump, however, will likely not pay Carroll for now, and he blasted the decision on social media, calling it absolutely ridiculous, adding that he will appeal the verdict. Now, listen to his attorney's comments after the trial got over.
We will immediately appeal. We will set aside that ridiculous jury. And I just want to remind you all of one thing. I will continue with President Trump to fight for everybody's First Amendment right to speak.
Now, this was the second time in 9 months that a jury addressed Carroll's charges of sexual assault against Trump. And last May, Trump was found liable for sexual abuse and was ordered to pay $5 million in defamation. And this was for the comments he made against Carroll while he was the president. Now, Friday's court session was filled with drama from the former president. Trump stormed out during the closing statement in his defamation trial after Carroll's lawyer called him a liar. And he was not in the courtroom when the verdict and the punitive damages were announced.
Trump not showing up to the beginning of trial, Trump leaving closing arguments today. No one wants to serve as a juror, and their time is valuable. And when you see that the parties to the case don't respect the jurors or the jurors' time, that's something that can cause jurors to return these types of runaway verdicts. That's why, as lawyers, we always advise our clients to respect the judge, respect the jurors, because if not, this is exactly the type of backlash that they may face.
Now, the case is one of several legal issues unfolding against Trump while he campaigns for the Republican presidential nomination, which is important to note here. And now, for more on this, we are being joined by Mr. Stephen Golub, who is an international affairs expert, a lawyer, and also political analyst. Welcome to the broadcast, Mr. Golub.
Pleasure to be here.
I'll begin with my first question. Trump has called the verdict outrageous, and he also said that he will appeal. Now, do you think he will pay the damages? And if he doesn't, what other means do Carroll's lawyers have in this case?
I believe he can hold off on paying the damages until the appeals are finished, or at least the judge will allow him to do that. That's kind of the normal course of U.S. justice. So she can't compel him to pay the damages for a year or two, or however long it takes for the appeals to run the course. However, this may still have legal implications in terms of deterring his conduct, which has been to accuse her in dozens of social media posts a day and other forums of being a liar, of being a horrible person, etc., etc. If he does that yet again, he could be brought to trial yet again, sued yet again, and suffer massive damages yet again. So this would, at least in the short run, be perhaps a deterrent against his repeating those invalid accusations.
And another important thing to note here, Mr. Golub, now this lawsuit is among many others that Trump is facing ahead of the polls. How will they impact his presidential bid? I'm sure many are thinking about this right now.
Yeah, and I'm sure he is also. There are various theories floating around. Look, the most straightforward answer is that this won't hurt his chances of getting the Republican nomination. Even if Nikki Haley, the one remaining candidate or opponent for the Republican nomination, does better than expected, he pretty much has it locked up, barring very unforeseen developments. But One way in which it could help him a bit is that he may use this as a fundraising tool to say, look, I've been unfairly convicted. You folks, my fans, my supporters out there should support my candidacy by making donations to it because the system is against me or President Biden is against me, et cetera, et cetera. There's another ramification of this, though, when it comes to the general election, which is that a certain percentage, not huge, but not tiny, of voters have indicated that if Trump is found guilty of a crime, they may vote against him, whereas otherwise they wouldn't. This isn't a crime he's been convicted of. He lost a civil suit against another private party. But I can see Biden and the Democrats putting on advertisements, putting out claims or arguments in social media that Trump lost in court. He's now been found to have committed sexual abuse, which is true from the last trial involving E. Jean Carroll. He lost again for defamation. And in voters' minds, that may indicate, this guy is guilty of something. This guy isn't worthy of the presidency. Not a huge number of voters, but in a close election, which is what we're likely to have this November, it really could make the difference. So therefore, this verdict against him really could play out politically in a negative way against him come November.
Thank you so much on that note, Mr. Carroll, for joining us and sharing your insights on this. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.